So yeah, we are done with Java data structure like arrays, collections. Okay, and today we're gonna start a new interesting topic, which is object-oriented programming. So we will have some introduction. We'll know what object-oriented programming is, what is the concept of object-oriented programming. Okay, and talk about classes, objects, uh, functions, and so on. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, let's start with some theoretical part in the beginning, and then we will have some practical examples after that. Okay, so here I will share my screen with you. So you can see my screen, right?
Hello, welcome to the Android development. Yep.
Okay, great. Hmm. So yeah, that's the beginning of object-oriented programming. We're gonna learn about uh, definition. We're gonna set a definition for object-oriented programming. Then we will talk about objects, classes, methods, which are the main components of all programs written by object-oriented programming language. Okay. Then we will learn about constructors and static keywords. Okay. Then after that, we will learn about the object-oriented concepts. And we have four concepts in object-oriented, which are inheritance, polymorphism, uh, encapsulation, and abstraction. So we have inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and uh, encapsulation. First of all, let me ask you, what is object-oriented programming? Do you have any idea?
It's the use of objects and classes and methods.
Uh, like Java is one of the object-oriented programming language, but it's not the only one. Like we have many object-oriented programming languages. So it's more of a concept of, let's say, yeah, concept or technique. Do you know what is it?
What is it?
It's assuming that everything in this life can be represented in code as an object. Okay, everything you can imagine can be represented as an object. Okay, this object holds, uh, state and behavior. In other words, it holds values and uh, functions. Okay, values like data, like normal data, and then function represent the behavior, like how it acts. Okay, or some sort of its functionalities. Okay. Then in programming, these objects can interact with each other and give us output. Okay. So this is the main idea behind object-oriented programming. Here now in Java, let's talk more in details about objects. So what is an object? So object-oriented programming, we design a program using objects and classes. Okay. Object is an entity that has a state and behavior. We just said that a while ago. It has some values and has some uh, functionalities. State represents the data or the value, and behavior represents the behavior. functionality of an object, okay? And all object is an instance of a class. An object is an instance of the class, okay? So for example, about object, we have a pen. Pen is an object, okay? It has a name like Reynolds, color is white. These are the state of the object or the value of the object, okay? So what about the behavior or the functionality? Like pen can write. So write here is the functionality or the behavior of the pen object, okay?
Yes.
Okay, what else? Object is a real world entity. It's a runtime entity. Okay, we will see this later. Okay. Yeah, we just mentioned that object is an entity that has a state and behavior. Yeah, and object is an instance of a class. Okay. So far, so good. You have any questions?
No. What's constructor? Constructor is a method.
Constructor is a method, and we'll talk about constructor later when first discuss about functions. And then we will talk about constructor, which is like special case of function or method. But let's not jump to this topic now, like we will already explain this later on. But for now, let's focus on objects and classes. So in few points we discussed about object. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So as we last mentioned, object is an instance of a class. So now let's know what is a class. So class is a template or blueprint from which objects are created. Okay. Java class can contain variables, constructors, and methods. Variables holds the value or the data, the state, like as we mentioned in objects, object has a state and functionality, state and behavior. So this state, the data that represents state are all in variables, okay? Then the behavior is represented by the methods or the functions in a class, okay? Then constructors, as we said, is a special kind of methods that are created in class, and we will talk about them later, okay? Last point is using new keyword, we can create a new object or an instance of a class. So now, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between object and class?
The object and class.
Yeah, what is the difference between object and class? Like we had two definitions for each one of them. Like we had the definition for an object, and then we had already defined a class. So, in light of your understanding, what is the difference between object and class?
The class is the box you put everything in, and class is the main thing where you put everything in, and object is an instant. Can be an instance of class.
Yeah, like that's somehow correct because class is the main part of our Java. Like you cannot write any code, any Java code out of a class. All your code should be inside not only one class, of course, but should be held in a class or more. Okay. So class is the main box, as you said, that holds everything. Okay. It's correct. I agree with it. But what is the main difference between class and object?
Object can become an object can become something.
Uh, okay, let me give you an example. Do you know about exams, like the ones we had when we were students in high school and college?
Yes.
Like, yeah, of course, you know about exams. Do you know the difference between exam questions and exam answers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is exam question? It's a
Exam question.
form of questions. Okay, has some forms like maybe essay question, whatever, uh, multiple choice. Okay, this some uh, types of questions will form an exam. Okay, this exam will be the same for all students. Okay, and of course, this template doesn't have any answers. Okay, and then we will make copies of this exam for each student. Okay, then each student will start to put his own answers to these questions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You hear me, right? Bro, you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, but your voice is becoming very low. I don't know why. It was okay a while ago, but now your voice is very low.
Yeah, I can hear
So
you, right? I can hear
yeah,
you good.
now it's much better. Okay. So each student will answer these questions of the exam, and each student has his own answers for the same question. Like for the same question, we will have different answers from different students, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, each student is not aware of the answer of his mates, of other students. Like he's aware only of his own answers to the questions, but he has no idea about what answers his mates answered to specific question, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so this is exactly the relation between a object and class is the same as exam question and answer. So here class is the same as exam questions. We have template, okay, of the uh, what of a real-time
Blueprint.
object. Okay, we have templates. Okay, this has accept some states or values, attributes. Okay, that represent the properties. Okay, then we have some functions that represent the behavior or the functionalities, which are the methods. Okay, so these template, okay, it's called the class, act as exam question. Okay, then we can create objects, okay, which are instance of this class, okay, and then using these objects, we will start giving values, okay, to these properties and running these functions of this class, okay, and each object will hold different value, okay, different from each other. Like if I have two objects, each object are all from the same class, but they have different values. You understand?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Uh, okay, we'll talk about methods later. Now let's jump to code to see some code examples. See my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Here I will create a new package. We call it OOP, stands for Object-Oriented Programming. Okay. In this object-oriented programming package, I will create a new class. Okay, I call it exam. So let's see how to implement the example we just talked about, how to do it in code. So here we have class. It's created using the keyword class, and then we have the class name, which is exam. Okay. Then we have two opening and closing brackets, which indicate the class body. Okay, where we should put our code in between these two brackets. And as we said, in Java, we cannot write any code outside the class. All our code should be inside here, in between these two brackets in class body. Okay? Okay, good. So here we have class called exam, and you want to give some properties to this exam. Like, what is properties of exam?
Oh, a very
Like, let me give you examples. Like, of course, we have some questions. Okay, so what types of questions could be like uh, could exist in an exam?
um, what kind of questions do you mean?
Okay, let me give you example. Okay, we will assume that this exam has like three questions. Okay, so first question is true or false question. So we will represent this question by a Boolean variable. Okay, and we will call it true or false question. Okay, so that's the first. Okay, second, we can have a say question. So we'll represent it by string variable of link property. Is a question. Okay. Uh, one last question, like let's make it of type integer and call it multiple choice question. Okay. So these are the variables of the class. Okay. We can still have some other functions. And don't worry, we'll discuss methods or functions in details, like maybe in the next session. But for now, we will have a short example about functions. Like we can have a function called review answers. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So review answer, whatever, and like some other behavior, we can, for example, create another method called calculate mark. Okay. And I will write here comment. We will tell you that we will discuss about methods and methods later. Okay. So is it clear?
Yes. It is, yep.
Okay. So now we created our class. Okay. We gave it a name, and then we gave some properties to this class. Okay. And then we gave also some behavior or functionalities to this class. And all these properties and functionalities should be related to this class to follow the proper object-oriented programming uh, practices. We cannot put a behavior that is not related to the class or a property that is not related to this class. Like for example, here I have exam class. So here I put true or false question, essay question, multiple choice question. But I cannot, for example, put here uh, another property called, for example, price. This one is wrong. This is wrong. Why wrong? Because
Um,
it's not related to the exam. Okay? Like there is no
yes.
exam that has a price, at least for now. Maybe
Tuition,
some,
tuition,
maybe some
tuition.
courses, maybe some courses have, or certificates has price for its exam, but this is not the case we are talking about right now. Okay, so here it's not possible for us to use price, okay, as a property inside exam class. Okay, you understand?
Yep.
As you can see, it's not giving any error because the syntax is correct. Okay, but it doesn't make any sense because this price cannot be property of an exam, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Exactly. So I cannot use it here. All these properties or functions should be related somehow to the class I'm implementing. Okay?
Mhm. True, yeah.
Okay. Do you have questions?
Void
Uh,
is correct.
void, yeah, don't worry about this void or integer. Like we will explain
Constructor,
all this when we discuss methods. But for now,
constructor.
yeah, I want to focus on class and objects. Don't
Okay,
worry about this. We'll talk about them like maybe next
constructor.
time. Yeah, we'll talk about these functions and we'll talk about constructor. But for now, just don't like bother yourself with it. Okay, just accept it the way it is. for now, okay, and we'll talk about that later, okay? Give me a moment, please.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption, bro.
Okay.
Okay, so now since we have our exam class ready, so we can try to create some objects of this exam, okay? Let's try it. So here I will create a new class. Here's OOP package, okay? I will call it main class. And in this main class, we'll put our main method, okay? And inside main method, I will now try to create a new object of the exam class. So how can we create a new class, new object? Create an object of exam class. So how to do it?
Get set method.
First, we'll put the class name, okay, the one we want to create an instance of it. So here our class name is called exam. So here I type exam with capital letter, as you can see. Then I will give a name to my object. So here I will call it answers one, exam answer one, exam answer one, okay, equal. Then I have to use the new keyword, so new, then exam again with these two brackets, okay. So by this line, I created an object called exam answer one, okay, which is an instance of exam class, okay. Now I can, since I have my object ready, I can use this object to give values, okay, values to these properties, okay. And also I can call these functions. Let's see how to do it. Once I say exam answer one dot, as you can see, I have here some suggestions. So for the true or false question, I want to give a value. So here I give true. So this is an answer. Can be considered as an answer. Okay, exam answer one dot uh, mul multiple choice. Multiple choice is of type integer, as if I have some multiple choices. Each choice has an order. Okay, so I'm choosing one of them. So for example, I choose 3, like the third choice, for example. Okay. Then last uh, question is an essay question, which is of type string. So here I can say this is my answer to essay question. Okay. So now, after I'm done with answering these questions, I can, call the behavior functionalities, which is review answers. Okay. So later on, we can put some logic to verify the answers genuinely, but for now, just print a statement that we're reviewing the answers. Then exam1.calculate mark. And again, later we can put some logic to calculate the real marks. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if I run this program, these values will be stored in the runtime. Okay. Then I got reviewing answer. Where did I get this reviewing answers?
Exam answer one, the review answers.
Yes, exactly. From this line, I called function called review answers. Okay. And this review answers here inside my exam class, I have function called review answers. And in this function, I have print statement. Okay. Is telling reviewing answers. So when I run this program, okay, so in the runtime, this object is created called exam answer one. We stored the value true, multiple choice 3, essay this one, okay, and then we got review answer. So we got this one, okay, and then calculate marks, okay. What if I want to change this implementation of review answers? Okay, here in review answers, I will not only print reviewing answers, but I will print the answers itself. Like here, true or false, question, equal, and then I put the value of the true or false question property. Okay, and I will do the same here. Multiple, multiple choice question equal. Then I put the value of the multiple choice property. Finally, the same question equal. Okay, is the question. Now, if I run my program again, now look, reviewing answer. True or false question equal true. Here, this value. Multiple choice is 3, which I got it from here, from this line. Essay question, this is my answer to essay question here. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. Okay. Calculate mark returns 100, whatever, it's a dummy implementation for that. What if I want to create a new object again of this exam class? Do I need a scanner for user to input answers? For now, no. Like for now, it's just a simple example